Hey, what's up, listener? Thanks for pressing play. This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we got a special guest. Marlene from I Like Comics 2 joins us to talk about the major shakeup at DC Warner Brothers, set photos and concept art from the Wonder Woman sequel and Aquaman, the bidding war over Fox between Disney and Comcast, and the Game of Thrones prequel show. Plus, you're going to get our spoiler review of the first 2 episodes of Marvel's Cloak and Dagger on Freeform. All that and a lot more in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Friday, June 15th, 2018.
Check 1. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. We jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah. We jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. Oh yeah. We jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert.
Hey, listener, what's up? Thanks for joining us, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast, your weekly geek fix of comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
He's the jock.
Oh, shit. He's the nerd.
And he over there in the corner is a pile of what used to be just felt and cotton and styrofoam and cardboard. And you put all that together, and of course you have everyone's favorite puppet American, Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
You're forgetting to add the bourbon in there.
Oh, is that what was the magic ingredient? You take all that stuff, you pour bourbon.
You put a little bourbon on there, and then you mix it together, and then you get Rug Boy. What's up, dudes? Wowie zowie!
There's a magic chant, too, I believe. You got to...
Mecca lecca high, mecca hiney ho. You know how it goes.
That's it. Also joining us on the show, super excited for our special guest. She's a cosplayer, a YouTuber. She's editor-in-chief of the comics blog. She's on staff at Tumblr and runs the website I Like Comics 2. It's Marlene. Marlene, what's up? Thanks for coming, hanging out with us.
Oh shit, what's up?
How's it going? You know, this all started because you posted a photo of a Blue Yeti mic you got. And you were like, podcast, hit us up. And Rug Boy, you swooped in on that. And
yeah, I follow Marlene, and every once in a while, to be provocative, I'll like respond to her stuff. And she hasn't ever gotten angry at me, so I think she's got to be cool. So,
aw, thank you.
Yeah, if Rug Boy doesn't offend you, you're definitely down. You're one of us.
She's like, who the fuck is Rug Boy?
Yeah, he's a puppet.
Yeah, he responds to me. I'd have never seen any of these.
Marlene, have you ever been on a podcast with a puppet?
I have not. This is my first time.
All right. First time on Jock and Nerd Podcast. I always love Jock and Nerd when that happens. Look, for the listener, real quick, why don't you tell them about your website, I Like Comics 2, and how that all started.
It's a website that I don't update nearly enough. So I think it's been a long time since I've actually posted anything on it. But I'm very active on Twitter, which is kind of good. How did it start? It started on YouTube a few years back when I was in college. I was just getting into American comics, and I wanted to make friends who also liked comics. So I started the whole I Like Comics 2 thing, and it kind of blew up from there.
So were you reading manga first?
Yeah, I was a big weeb back in the day.
Okay. That's the exit. That's the entry drug.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. That was
the gateway, and now what has it led to? What else? What do you like now?
I still like comics. I've kind of gone away from the mainstream comics
as
nowadays.
we all have.
Yeah, it happens.
But I still like them and cartoons and all that jazz. So I'm still there, just not in the same capacity.
Yeah, the big two. I dropped those guys like a while ago.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It's too hard to keep up with all the stuff that's happening. And I just feel like after a point, you're kind of sick of buying 10 different books.
Yeah, they're marketing the shit out of you.
Yeah, especially when there's 4 number ones of the same goddamn title every year. What are you doing? Now, my guilty pleasure is Spider-Man. I recently did finally go to my comic book store and pick up 700, like 97 to 800. It's like the end. It's Spider-Man 800. How am I not going to buy that? $10.99 Marvel, you motherfuckers. You got my money, though.
I would buy that comic just to burn it. Because it's the last issue of Dan Slott.
Ruggs is not a Dan Slott fan, and that is the final issue of Dan Slott's long tenured run.
Yeah.
Marlene, you also have a very active YouTube channel, a lot of fun videos on there.
Yeah.
And we'll get into some of those. Listener, if you want to see all this stuff, definitely check out the show notes to this episode, jockandnerd.com/225. It'll have links to everything we talk about and links to how to subscribe to the show. Never miss a show in Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Stitcher. This show, Marlene's going to hang out with us. We're going to go over some really crazy geek news that broke this week. And
Is it crazy, though?
Well, it's kind of crazy. Some of it is
Are you
It's
just
always
saying it's
hyperbole
crazy?
for him, right?
Yeah.
everything. Look, you'll learn about me. I like to exaggerate because it engages the listener. It's crazy.
Does it?
But I don't know. Okay, it's mildly interesting news. We'll try to, spruce
It's
up.
really boring news, but we're going to give it to you anyway.
Well, yeah, we're going to give it the old college try. But then we will review Marvel's latest TV show, the first 2 episodes of Cloak and Dagger on Freeform. So I'm excited for that. 2 announcements before we get to the news. Get yourself some free stuff just for listening to the show. How about a free month of Stitcher Premium? Just visit stitcher.com/premium. Use the promo code NERD. Through September of 2018, you'll get a free month. You can check out lots of awesome premium content, including Marvel's first podcast called Wolverine: The Long Night. Marlene, would you be into a Wolverine audio drama podcast for Marvel?
Sure, why not?
Right? I think
Well, if you are,
yes.
you got to go to Stitcher Premium. Get that
Stitcher.com/premium.
Yeah, whatever the
Use
hell it is.
It's
And
actually,
hit nerd, not Marvel.
dude, it's really good. It's a good show.
You turn a lot of people on to that, Imran.
I did, and actually we have a testimonial at the end of the show from a listener who also confirms that I'm not just saying it's great. He actually liked it, but I tend to like everything a lot like Kevin Smith, which is why I have Anthony and the puppet here to balance things
Keep
out.
you honest, Imran.
Yes. And then the last thing this week, if you want some cool Jock and Nerd merch, t-shirts, stickers, notebook covers, just visit our shop, jockandnerd.com/shop. Between June 20th and 24th, everything's 30% off.
Oh, shit.
$14 t-shirts. You can't beat that. You get Rug Boy on your chest for $14. None of the mess, basically. So,
That's great.
okay, let's get to the news, everybody.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Marlene, are you on the Facebook at all? You like the Facebook or are you done with the Facebook?
I do like the Facebook. Yeah.
It's okay, but the best place on Facebook is in our little closed community, the Jock and Nerd Nation. It's a closed group for our listeners. You should join because you meet, all our listeners can hang out. They meet like-minded people. You can geek out about stuff we all love. This week, welcome new member, Rokas Barokas.
Whoa.
That's a great
Sounds
name.
like Mortal Kombat character.
It sounds like a chant you would use to turn someone into Hervé Villachez. I don't know, what the Fantasy Island thing. He goes by the name Rocco.
That makes it easier.
Nice to meet you.
Oh.
Yo, Rocco, welcome. And joining this week, holy crap.
Oh, shit.
Rug Boy is now on Facebook. Get the fuck out of here. Get excited,
Yeah, we've
everybody.
somehow circumvented the system and they've allowed a puppet to have a Facebook account.
Please don't tell Mark Zuckerberg. He doesn't like
Yeah,
puppets.
he doesn't like it.
He's the puppetist.
Yeah,
but
he's an anti-felty person.
Rugs, welcome to the group. And if you thought that group was fun before, just wait. Just
Yeah,
wait.
give me a few days to get warmed up. I've never been on the Facebooks before, so
How do you type? Like, do you stick a pencil in your mouth
yeah,
and
pretty
just go
much.
one letter at a time?
Yeah,
Or you just
it takes
mash
me a
your
long
eye?
time. That's why I like to do the podcast.
Every post
Okay.
takes a day and a half.
Like I tweet and it takes me an hour to do a tweet. It's usually misspelled and I get pissed off because you can't like edit your tweets.
No, you
Like
can't.
whatever goes.
Yeah, you could delete them, but that's it. It would
That's why I
it's
sound
out
like an
there-
asshole half the time. I'm like, I wrote that? Fuck.
Marlene, does that bother you when you tweet the fact that it's like you can't change it and you can delete it, but once it's out there, even if you delete it, it's kind of out there.
I kind of prefer it that way. I feel like if I had the chance to go back and edit stuff, it'd be a little less honest.
That's a good point. That is the point of the platform, is like instant knee-jerk reactions, whatever they may be. Just don't think about it.
I bet
Put it
Trump
out
wishes
there.
he could edit. No, maybe
Yeah.
he doesn't.
Yeah.
Maybe he
Look,
doesn't. He probably doesn't.
I don't
He's
think he
like,
thinks he
this
can.
was a perfect tweet. This tweet was
tweet.
amazing.
Best tweet ever, the most amazing tweet.
I mean, what do you think? You're going to lose your job or something? That never happens. No. That's not going to. Nobody's reading that. You'll be fine. Tweet whatever you want. Tweet away. Look, Marlene, lately in the show for the past few
Oh my
months,
God, I hate this story.
we've been following the Stan Lee story because, look, this man created a modern mythology, created my favorite character, many people's favorite characters, and the story is crazy. I know you interviewed him way back in the day. I saw one of those videos. What was that like?
Oh man, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
You dug that up.
Look,
from
I'm
the
scrolling
past.
on your YouTube channel. What do you want me
He
to
does
do?
his research
Yeah.
that I didn't run.
I have to research our guest.
Yeah, I interviewed him when I was part of this MTV show, and it was like a gallery that he was part of that he was premiering. They were selling a bunch of really amazing Spider-Man art. I think a lot of it went to charity. He was a really nice old man.
Yeah,
Like, he was super, super sweet, very cordial, really funny. Like, as funny as you expect him to be, he actually is in real life.
He's a whippersnapper.
He's like the king of like corny, cheesy one-liners.
Yep.
And he wrote that in all his comics, and it's great. I would just want to like hug him. I don't even want to like say hi, shake his hand. All I want to do at this point is hug him because holy shit, what is going on in his life? Last week, we reported gunman at his house demanding money. The LAPD released an audio clip, believe it or not. Here's how it went down, apparently.
Who is it?
Goons!
Who?
Hired goons!
Hired goons.
That's crazy. That's how it went down. You don't open the door when they say hired goons. That's
I hate this.
okay. So look, to catch up this week, all you have to do is read the headlines of these stories. Stanley's business manager, Kia Morgan, who he said, I've put all my faith in this guy. He is my man. He was arrested on suspicion of filing a false police report regarding those gunmen. Then following that, a story comes out. Stanley has now been giving a restraining order against said business manager, Kia Morgan. The LAPD investigating claims of elder abuse again, and now his former attorney is his acting guardian. First of all, this guy, Kia Morgan, you cannot trust a business manager who wears like a bowler hat and a fucking velvet suit. Why would you trust this guy? He looks shady from every photo.
Well, in Stanley's time, that was like what you wore. So he's like dressing for like when he was like in his like 20s.
Yeah, maybe he's pulling at the heartstrings at
Stan's
his
like, this guy's stylish. I like his style.
I haven't seen a Seosaka in years.
The other problem is now that he has a guardian, which is great. Hopefully Tom Lawless actually has his best interest in mind. Really, his daughter, man, where is she? The daughter's supposed to be the guardian. How about you grow up, you step up, you take care of your father? This is just inexcusable.
But isn't her daughter an asshole?
She is a piece of shit, unfortunately, and has spent a lot of money and does not get along with Stan.
That's so sad. Like, it just makes me sad for Stanley.
Yeah.
It's a depressing story. I hate
Marlene,
this
what's
story.
your take on all these? I'm sure you've seen these stories. Like, what do you feel? Hopefully, how does this end up?
I just really don't get what's going on because I heard he had made statements previously or released something through some kind of law firm that basically alleged that these folks, including his daughter, weren't great.
Yep.
But then he came out with a statement on his Twitter saying that they had the best relationship they'd ever had.
Yeah.
So someone is not telling the truth. Like something fishy is going on, and I just don't understand what it is.
No, I'm with you.
Do you think he's like senile and people just tell him what the state of the day is that day and he just repeats it?
I don't know. I really do. I definitely know that, like, compared to when I had interviewed him all those years ago, he just doesn't look like himself at cons anymore.
Yeah,
he just looks tired.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it. He makes these circuits to film in movies and to be at cons all of the time. Like, I would be tired even if I wasn't his age. But compiled with his age, I feel like he's at the point where he should just be like resting somewhere.
Is that not abuse? This 95-year-old man should not be doing conventions. He should be relaxing, enjoying the fruits of his labor. This is just ridiculous what they're putting him through.
Yeah.
Unless he needs the money and they've already.
I'm sure that the money's nice. I'm sure he gets paid a lot of dough, but I'm sure that he doesn't give a fuck either. He's like,
Yeah, it's crazy. So look, let's just wrap this up with one good piece of news actually for Stan Lee. Believe it or not, the Museum of Pop Culture just announced their new inductees into its famous science fiction and fantasy Hall of Fame. Stan Lee being inducted into the Sci-Fi Fantasy Hall of Fame along with J.K. Rowling, the video game series Legend of Zelda, and Joss Whedon's Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
All good picks right there.
Yeah, congratulations, Stan.
There's a sci-fi Hall of Fame?
Well, in this museum called Mopop. I don't know where Mopop is, though.
It's in someone's basement.
Yeah. There's probably wood paneling behind the exhibits. Hey, that's still
It's still good news.
It's still good news.
To be recognized
I'm
is just fine.
amazed that there's a museum for this.
Yeah, look, I'll take any good piece of news for Stanley. He needs it right now. All right, let's move into The big crazy news that broke this week from the DCFU EU Extended Film Universe, whatever it's called. The mess that is DC and Warner Brothers.
Does Marlene like the DC? Do you like any of the DC movies?
Great question. What's your take on the DC universe?
Does anybody actually like the DC?
But you like Wonder Woman, right? You have to.
I did like Wonder Woman,
okay.
but I still don't think it's as great as the Marvel movies.
Hey, there you go. I like her.
Okay, what about my thing is DC kills it on the small screen. Like their TV division's doing really well, and they just can't get their shit together for the movies.
Which DC show are you talking about?
Like the CW world, Arrowverse, and then not Gotham.
I think their animation.
That's what I was thinking. It's definitely not Gotham.
I think their animation is great.
Their animation is very
They
good.
always get their
Animation
shit
is great.
together for the animation.
Yeah,
That's true.
which is
They do have really good animated movies. I was on board for Gotham like in the first season, and then I just fell right off it.
I couldn't even watch it.
yeah.
Yeah,
thought my
the
skin
Flash was
crawling
also
up.
good, and then
I still subject myself to it.
Imran like dines and
bad
garbage.
shit,
so
crazy.
He'll watch anything till the
Dude,
very
it's
end.
but it's entertaining if you just like let it go and be like, "What is this? What is going on? What the fuck, Gotham?" It's
What
entertaining.
bothers you the most about like the DC universe? It's just that the movies are subpar, or that they're losing focus on what the characters are and what they're supposed to be doing.
I'm not as upset about the characterizations. I think the plots are just generally really weak. Also, the grimdark thing is getting really old. I think Marvel's done a really good job of balancing serious and funny and making them still super enjoyable. And DC just hasn't found that balance yet. A lot of the humor is really forced.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
They haven't made a good movie, which is like the one thing they need to do is make one good movie. Wonder Woman got
Well, they
very,
had
very
Wonder
close.
Woman, but then they took
It
like
fell
20
apart.
steps back.
It fell apart in
Two-thirds
that
of
last-
Wonder Woman, yes.
That last act was just
So,
not
again,
good.
not a complete whole good movie. Here's what happened. Huge shakeup in the head offices over at DC Entertainment. Jeff Johns, who's the guy that came in as a writer, the guy that reinvigorated The Flash and Green Lantern for everyone, worked his way up to CCO of DC Entertainment. Jeff Johns stepping down to enter an exclusive writer-producer deal with Warner Brothers. He launched this thing called Mad Ghost Productions. So he's going to be more a creator, less executive. DC publisher Jim Lee's taking over as CCO while continuing to be publisher with Dan DiDio. And Jeff Johns' first project, Green Lantern Corps, reportedly with Hal Jordan. John Stewart, he's also going to start a new DC label called The Killing Zone, focusing on lesser-known DC characters. And he's going to do a Shazam comic and the Three Jokers comic he was going to do before he became
Why are they calling it the
CCO.
Killing Zone?
I don't know. That's not the best name for a label, in my
Because it
opinion.
needs to be even darker.
What the
I
fuck?
think of
Why
the
would you
Killing
call that
Joke.
lesser known
Yeah.
characters the Killing Zone? I don't know.
Maybe they all
Why would you
die.
focus on lesser known characters instead of doing your main characters better?
That's also a good question.
point.
I mean, he is the guy that kind of brought back the Barry Allen Flash when he wasn't
He
the
brought
main
back
Flash.
Hal.
and
He's known
Hal
most known
Jordan.
Hal Jordan Flash. He was a big Silver Age guy. So,
I'm
Barry Allen,
excited
Hal
that
Jordan.
he's writing Green Lantern Corps because I think that's
Are you though? You don't buy comics anymore.
no, but that's one of the best things he wrote was his whole Green Lantern run.
But are you? Is this going to make you buy comics?
No, it's going to make me watch. No, he's writing the movie Green Lantern
Oh,
Corps.
gotcha.
Not the comic book. This is the movie Green Lantern Corps for the universe.
Really?
Yes. That's his. So he didn't even leave the building as like CCO. He just went
Oh,
into
I
another
totally
office
misread this.
and started working on the Green Lantern Corps. Marlene, what do you think? Do you think Jeff Johns is just doesn't want to be executive anymore and just kind of wants to create? Maybe he bit off more than he could chew as CCO.
That kind of sounds right. And to be honest, I don't blame him.
He
He's on
tried.
a sinking ship. He wants to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
He tried. He got the CW. He's all over like the CW shows as producer and the streaming shows, Titans, Doom Patrol that they're going to do, and a little bit of Wonder Woman.
Here's what I think. I don't think they actually that DC, whoever is in that head role as creative officer for the movies, doesn't really have all the autonomy I think that they want.
Right.
I think there's a ton of stuff behind the scenes and a ton of different people that you have to please, and it's not as well run as whereas Fahey makes all the decisions. I don't think that person at DC, whoever that person is, there's not one person making a decision.
There's no position that could be the Fahey is basically what you're saying. They've broken it up. So Ruggs, what do you think? Do you think Jeff Johns will be better at just writing the movie and not having to worry about all that?
It's probably
bullshit?
just not for him. That's all. It's not for him. He's working on comics. It's a whole different
creator.
animal,
Yeah. Yeah.
Comics are like a lot more of a direct medium, right? So you got a writer and you got an artist and then maybe an editor in there. And then maybe it's got to get okayed by one other person and it goes out. A movie is like, it's so much fucking bureaucracy and bullshit and people like measuring their dicks. It's like really, it's not a fun environment. So it's probably not good for him.
He's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I want to create. I'm a creator, damn it.
Yeah.
So look, if he's happy, he's going to make good shit. That leads into the next bit. So in reaction to that, president of DC Entertainment, Walter Hamada, came out and kind of talked about some updates and their new strategy. Basically, he has walked into a shit show, and now he's trying to clean it up. So the Joker movies are still happening. The one with Jared Leto, the worst Joker ever.
No.
Yeah, Marlene, do you want a Jared Leto Joker movie? Who wants this?
No, absolutely
not. You don't like Juggalo Joker?
Juggalo Joker with the grill, tattoos on his forehead.
The whole situation with that Joker was just so confused. Like, that's the word that I can sum it up with. It's just so confused.
I mean, he's barely in the movie to begin with, so you don't get much. What do you think about this Joaquin Phoenix, Todd Phillips Joker movie that would be like a dark R-rated movie?
The thing is, with a lot of these movies, my gut reaction is always just to be like, no. And I think I'm going to stick with that reaction for the Jared Leto one.
Absolutely.
But for the most part, I've been trying to steer myself away from that reaction because that's the reaction I had with Heath Ledger. And look how that turned out.
That's a good point. Not a lot of people thought he was the right pick for that. I think Joaquin Phoenix playing the Joker could be like up there with Heath Ledger playing the Joker.
Actor in every single way.
Which one?
Jared Leto.
Joaquin. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So here's the interesting thing about this movie. They've given it a budget. It's expected to begin shooting in the fall. Budget of $55 million. So I like this if they make a small budget, R-rated, gritty Joker movie.
This is a gangster flick. Scorsese's involved.
Possibly producing, correct.
It could be cool. It could be cool if it's a gangster flick.
This may launch that new label that they're either going to call DC Dark or DC Black.
Just imagine Goodfellas with the Joker in it.
They don't need to do the label. They don't need to be like, this is DC Dark, or this is DC Black. I don't think they don't need to do that.
I've heard rumors that now there's going to be a lot of rebranding within Warner Brothers because
that is
of all
such
this
like a early 2000s, we got to make the superhero movies dark vibe. You don't need to label it dark.
Just let the movie speak for itself.
Let the movie that's like when Marvel was like doing Marvel Knights and doing like this is our dark series. Like, no, just make the content dark and people will figure that out. You don't need to tell people that.
I don't think people will be confused that this is kind of its own this is a standalone Joker movie. Like, that's a great idea. Just because you don't have to sign the guy on for 10 movies.
I think if it's the Joker who's a homicidal maniac, that's one thing. But if you're doing a Spider-Man series that's dark, then you want to let people know. But whatever. Like, you gotta, when you're watching the Joker, you're gonna see a fucking crazy dude killing people. So it comes with the territory.
That's true. Hey, Marlene, what did you think of Ezra Miller's Flash in the Justice League?
I'm a little bit biased because I absolutely love Ezra Miller, so.
All right. No, that's fine. Do you watch the Barry Allen CW Flash? Because that's a really good Flash, too.
I actually really liked the first part of that show. I kind of fell off when it started getting a little bit more complicated. I thought I also wasn't a huge fan of Iris for a long time.
Yeah.
So.
She was written really annoyingly for a number of seasons.
Yeah, I kind of fell off that, but I liked the character a lot there too. I just also really like Ezra Miller.
Well, look, I'll admit, Ezra Miller's Flash was funny in the movie, and he was kind of goofy, kind of charming. They want to make the Flash movie lighter in tone, similar to a Back to the Future instead of this dark like Flashpoint thing. That's maybe not a bad idea. I'll be all right with that.
Yeah, I would be on board for that.
Right? That could be fun. Finally, this one's the biggest, craziest thing. Matt Reeves turned in a new script, and it's for the Batman standalone movie, solo movie, set to focus on a young Batman, meaning probably, of course, again, Affleck's probably out. They should just come out and say it. Ben Affleck should just be like, look, I'm out, bitches. See you later.
No one thinks that Ben Affleck's going back.
Yeah.
He didn't want to do it, then they didn't want him to do it. He's not doing it. I don't know why they're beating around the bush.
Marlene, do you want to see Affleck as another Batman?
No, I'm good. I've had my fill.
Yeah, right? He's fine. You can leave. We can switch it up. They switch up Batman all the time.
He's had 3 movies. That's good enough.
He's not bad. He's just not my favorite.
Yeah.
He's not, and it's just he's now just.
Do you prefer the Christian Bale voice?
Favorite Batman, Marlene?
Keaton.
Oh, Keaton.
Yeah, all right.
Whoa.
Oh, shit. I like Marlene.
The wild card.
Yes.
If you would have said Val Kilmer,
Val Kilmer.
Dude, Keaton was a good Batman. I mean, in '89, and still it holds up. Like, he's complex, and you can tell he's kind of crazy, but charming and funny. Like, it's just a perfect balance. Still dark.
Imagine Val Kilmer was my official favorite Batman.
That would be horrible. I would kick you off the show. You'd be done. No more
I
Rug
did
Boy.
like Val Kilmer. What's wrong with Val Kilmer? Oh, man.
So, look,
No love.
it looks like Walter Hamada maybe has a plan. I don't know if any of this is going to save anything.
See, I read that article, too, and they say he has a plan, but I really think he's just kind of rolling things out. Like, he's rolling little stuff, and he's rolling big stuff, and he's just kind of seeing what's going to stick. I don't think he really has, like, this is what we're going to do. I think I'm still of the mindset that DC is going to change with the win, like, after everyone's reaction after the next movie.
They're
like,
super reactionary.
Super reactionary.
It's hard for them not to be reactionary, too. Like, it's a habit. Like, they can't help themselves at this point. It's crazy. Let's talk about some DC movies that are coming out and that we have some actual set photos, official photos, starting with Wonder Woman 2. Last week we discussed it's going to be set in 1984, and we have two photos. One of them is a little bit shocking because it features Steve Trevor, Chris Pine, and Amal in the 80s.
Oh, shit.
But look,
He's wearing a members only jacket. I didn't know he was a member.
He's sick.
I actually have a members only jacket.
You
that I
do?
still wear, yeah.
We all have one.
Yes, but do you have it from back in the day, or you bought it because it was now trendy?
Yeah.
Oh, you bought it, and that doesn't.
Oh, I got the OG one. It's my dad's.
Marlene, do you have a favorite members only jacket?
I definitely do not.
Oh, you know, you should get one. But the way to get it is you got to go to the thrift store and find
just
that shit.
just go
That's
to Brooklyn.
not the way to get it. You can't get
Hipsters
it
are all
anywhere.
wearing them.
Yeah, I own one.
Mug a hipster.
Yeah, go to Williamsburg. They're all in them.
Punch me in the face.
Come on, you
see
know
if
that.
you can get one for
You
me.
don't even have to punch them. They flinch really easy.
No, I'm saying punch me in the face.
Oh, okay.
See if you can get one for me.
We'll try. Anyways, look, if you listen to our Wonder Woman review, we did discuss, Chris Pine sign on for 2 movies. So the whole time I was like, what? We saw the plane explode. Spoiler, you didn't see a body.
You know what really mystifies me about this picture?
Yeah.
Is why is Freddie Mercury in the background?
Is that Remy Malek on the wrong set?
Yeah, or Borat, one or the other. It's like,
That's a strange
That's
picture.
pretty good.
yeah, that guy's awesome.
I was looking at comments on The Nation. I'm just going to go right into it.
Yep.
Doesn't this kind of take away a lot? I mean, we'll see how it plays out, but this takes away a lot of her pathos in Justice League because she is for mourning that Steve Trevor's been gone for a while.
She could be talking about his death in this movie. We don't know. We don't know.
I don't know.
Marlene, how does this happen? How is this him? Is it his son? He looks a little bit older. What do you think's going on here?
I'd be really pissed off if it was his son. That'd be super weird. That'd be pulling like a Peggy Carter kind of situation with her.
Yeah.
His or niece.
It reeks of Captain America ripoff.
A little bit.
I'm not into it.
I'm not into it either.
I don't understand how he's there, but I hope it's not his kid.
Maybe it's a hallucination.
I even don't want it to be him. I just don't understand why he needs to be back in this film. And if you're going to put him in the film, why is that shouldn't that be sort of I know we're all going to know that he's in the film, but shouldn't that be a plot reveal? Why are they releasing that as one of the first photos?
That is also interesting. It must not be a big deal then.
What if Steve Trevor flies and crashes the plane and lands near Paradise Island or Themyscira, and he's there hiding out, and since time doesn't affect there, he doesn't age. He doesn't age.
Wouldn't she know though? Wouldn't somebody tell her?
I don't know.
Maybe she never went back to the island.
You know, in movies they never tell each other anything. I've seen 4 million outcomes, and I'm not going to tell Iron Man what's going on.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I'm like Marlene right now, where my first instinct with anything DC is just no, and that's the first thing I thought when I saw that.
But
no.
that's what I thought too. This must not be a big deal if you're just going to go out and be like, oh, by the way, here's what Steve Trevor looks like. You know what they did in the 70s show? It's fucking hilarious. The first season was on CBS, or it was on ABC, set in World War II with a guy playing Steve Trevor. Second season, it moves to ABC. They set it in the present day 70s, and they have the same guy playing Steve Trevor's son or his grandson, and they just explain that it's his son, and he looks exactly like him. But of course, this is the 70s, so Nobody said anything.
Just be ready for bullshit, people.
There's going to be some kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
The second
It's
photo,
coming.
I kind of like the second photo just because she's standing in front of a bunch of TVs. You see JR from Dallas. You see the scene from National Lampoon's Vacation and other 80s things. So, I don't know. That's the 80s vibe, I guess. Let's move on to a more exciting set of photos. Our first look at Aquaman. Geek Boner. James Wan's Aquaman coming out in December. Marlene, are you excited for this one at least?
I am actually pretty excited about this one.
I mean,
I did like Momoa's Aquaman. I almost said Batman. It'd actually be really cool to see him as Batman.
Yes, absolutely.
Dirty pirate Batman.
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job in Justice League. So.
Oh yeah, my man. And then he was funny, and he was charming. I kind of bought into it. I like the different look. But this first photo, man, everyone wanted to know Black Manta. You have Yahya Abdul-Mateen, who's from Get Out, playing Black Manta. Are they going to do his big, silly helmet with the red eyes? And guess what? Yes, they're doing it. You see him looking at this helmet on the table. What are your thoughts on this, Anthony?
How do you turn your head? That's my first thought.
Oh, that's a good point.
Is that Anthony?
Anthony sounds like Rug Boy.
I'm sorry, I had to get it out.
No, I know, that's good. I'm glad you can get that before I got to that. I like it. I mean, I've honestly wanted to be even like fucking bigger because that mask in the comics is like
huge.
It's like 5 feet wide across.
Yeah.
It's gigantic, but it looks like they're already kind of embracing that style of the
It would be great if like they go to fight each other and then Aquaman just kind of tips him and he falls over the weight of his own head, like a pop figure.
It's a little top heavy.
Yeah.
It's like, hold on, man, this is a little top heavy. I should have thought about this design. Marlene, you a fan of Black Manta's costume?
It's a little too goofy for me.
Okay.
I'm hoping it's kind of like a first iteration sort of situation, and then he works on it and makes it look a lot cooler than that.
He may not even wear it. It may just be like sitting there, and it's like
an
a
Easter
joke.
egg or
Yeah,
something.
which I'd be fine with
These
that.
fucks never wear their masks.
No,
Put
they
the
never
fucking
do.
mask on, you dick.
They
Who
don't.
cares about your face?
But my face, I want to be in this movie. They got to
Right.
see me in my eyes. I mean, I don't know. I get it. It's cool
Make
to
it
see the
emote.
helmet. Yeah. And then we got a shot of Momoa's Aquaman, and I guess that's Orm? His
Yeah, he's
brother?
rocking the bare midriff too.
Holy shit. Who
He's
is?
wearing a navel ring. No, I'm kidding.
That's
My belly jewels.
Ocean Master. And if you click that link, you see Mira with red hair. So, look, evidence that this movie was made and it's coming out.
This movie was
Listen,
made.
I like James Wan. He's done some good stuff. So, I'm optimistic about this movie more than Justice League. I'll tell you that.
The image of the seahorses and the sharks.
So that
being,
also,
like,
yes.
used as rides is kind of cool.
This is kind of one of the coolest things. EW released some concept art, and it's literally soldiers, armies on two sides. One of them riding giant great white sharks. The other one's riding giant sea dragons. The 7 statues in the back standing for like the 7
seahorses, you son of a bitch.
Seahorses, at that
Biology.
point, they're dragons.
Ever
at that
heard
point.
of it?
They could call them dragons.
Imran just makes shit up and then
I
hopes
like to
nobody
make-
notices.
So, Marlene, let me ask you this. How are they going to communicate underwater? This is the thing. We saw a little bit of it in Justice League, but it was really stupid, and I hope they don't do that. This underwater battle scene looks sick. How are they communicating?
They need to do it like the old cartoon with like the weird circles and shit
With the
around.
rating, the
Yes, please. That's what
like
I
with
want.
like subtitles.
yeah, and
Yes.
that
All right,
Atlantean
that's
subtitles.
A move. That's a definite
That's
direction.
what I want to see.
Okay.
So some kind of telepathic,
Is this?
goofy.
Do you legitimately want to see this, or is this your? I
No,
just want to
that's
see
me-
how
that's
goofy
me
this-
bullshitting.
Yeah,
That's a no.
I gotta say something.
I want to see this goofy ass shit on screen for maybe like 10
Yeah, I
minutes.
have no idea, but not actually that,
I
please.
mean, look, this movie's definitely got obstacles. So you got to be creative. You got to be creative to kind of please the people that are watching it and them going, this is bullshit. Like if every single time they talk is going to be an air bubble,
Yeah, it's blah, 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 blah. Like
or
what?
like Mara when she opens up the water and then there's air there, so they
yeah,
can
like
talk.
a physical bubble. Yeah, that's a cop out, man.
Like
That's
she's got to be in every scene.
great. Okay, I was
Gotta be like,
can they all do
where's
that?
Mira again? I gotta have a conversation and get her over here. She can move the water. We
I'm
can have a
excited
conversation.
to see Atlantis on the big screen, and even before Cameron pulls his avatar, and he's working on underwater scenes, and I'm excited to see what he does with underwater scenes. So they got a lot writing on this movie. It's the only movie they got out this year. They just got to make one good movie from start to finish. Nail all 3 acts this time, bastards. And everything will be great.
All 3 acts.
That's all you got to do. And then just tweeted today from James Wan a graphic with the Aquaman logo saying trailer debut San Diego Comic-Con. So we will possibly see how they're talking underwater or see something in July.
Have you been to San Diego, Marlene?
Only once in 2013.
That's more than I've been there, so.
It's a lot better than New York Comic Con, I'll tell you that.
New York Comic Con is just impossible to walk around in.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's also like San Diego, the whole city turns into like nerd mecca.
Yeah, it does.
And New York Comic Con is just kind of a barren wasteland outside of the convention center.
Yeah, that's true.
Anthony's been
Once
there.
you leave, it's all over.
Yeah, I loved San Diego Comic Con just because of this. Like Marlene said, you look around and you can tell like the city has fully embraced it. There's auxiliary events everywhere. Everyone knows it's in town. I haven't been to New York, but I'm sure in New York, most of the
like they have like concerts and shit, and like all kinds of events.
I gotta go. Look, it's one of the 3 things on my bucket list. 3 things I have to do. 1, visit Mecca in Saudi Arabia because I was raised Muslim and they make you do that shit. I've done that. I went to Oktoberfest in Munich. Holy crap, that was amazing. I gotta go to San Diego Comic-Con.
So there's one more thing, and then we can finally shoot you.
Yeah,
put you out the pasture.
Yeah, then I'm done. Then whatever happens, I will step into a street.
Let's start a Patreon fund to get your ass to Comic-Con so we can get rid of you.
That's a good point. If you can get me to San Diego Comic-Con, my job here is done, listener. I will exit.
Oh, shit.
It always gets dark with you, Anthony.
I'm sorry.
And it's always about
It's
you.
because we're talking about
me.
DC, man.
I know. All right. Let's switch gears and transition to a little Marvel news in the most weirdest way I can imagine, which is talking about something that was announced 2 years ago. On the show 2 years ago, 2016, we announced AT&T was going to buy Time Warner, which was a huge deal. Time Warner.
This Marvel news?
It will be.
Well, it'll relate to it,
Watch.
I guess.
Gotcha.
In Imran's crazy thinking.
It does connect. Time Warner owns HBO, TBS, which is like CNN, and Warner Brothers Studios. So
Which
it's
is
kind of
DC.
DC
Yeah.
and Marvel continued.
You
So
shit.
the government immediately sued them to block this. 2 years later, we have an answer. The government's case was that it would ultimately hurt consumers, that AT&T would be able to leverage HBO and content for more money. It would limit all these streaming places to start. The judge was not convinced, and this week he is allowing the $85.4 billion deal to proceed.
Welcome to Trump's America,
Holy-
where businesses can do whatever the fuck they want.
You know what, though? It may
It wasn't
be...
the government was suing them.
Yes, it may have been Trump's people to block them because Time Warner owns CNN.
Well, not
Trump
2
is-
years ago.
Yeah, not
Trump
2
is
years
not
ago.
a fan of
Right.
CNN, though.
Right.
So he could have thrown fire onto this. So this sets a huge precedent of telecom companies, tech companies, can now buy up pieces of Hollywood, buy up content providers, and
This is all
consolidate
because
everything.
AT&T is you're traditionally the cable provider, and they're looking at the landscape and they're like, we need more digital content ASAP because Netflix, Amazon,
Their
all
field
that shit.
bread. And
Yeah.
also, Batman and the Justice League now have the Friends and Family plan from AT&T, so they can all share their minutes.
Yes.
So
All the Robins can talk to each other.
yes, the Robins get a phone. All of the other Bat people get a phone. One bill. It's a great plan. Unlimited data.
I'm sure Bruce Wayne is psyched about this.
This is how it ties into Marvel because Disney has a $52 billion bid for Fox properties, and Comcast said if the government allows this merger, we are going to place a higher bid. Well, they immediately
did. Yeah.
placed a $65 billion bid, mostly cash, topping Disney's offer for Fox International Holdings, Fox Properties, and the controlling stake in Hulu. And, you know, part of me is like they could buy it out from Disney and sell it back to Disney. They could split the assets. Marlene, were you excited at the prospect of the X-Men and Fantastic Four coming back to the MCU?
Fantastic Four I could do without. X-Men, yeah, for sure.
Right?
I think that's like the override consensus is that no one really gives a fuck about the Fantastic Four.
No, not really, yeah.
But
I
the
think
X-Men,
Kevin Feige could save it though.
No,
if
I
anybody.
think and anything Marvel touches right now, they could turn into something good. So I would be down for it.
They have not missed a beat. So, Jesus, Comcast is going to meet with Fox on this bid. whether Disney can top it, like they can't top the all cash because it dilutes Fox stock or something. So this is going to be very interesting. And following on the heels of that, Apple announced today it's made a deal with Oprah for original content.
Oh, shit.
This is going to get crazy, y'all. My only concern is...
I like that you threw that in.
Like that.
Oprah.
Yeah, this is what I just said. Tech companies
Does
are
she have
looking...
superpowers?
She's going to make original content for them. Listen, you laugh.
So is Oprah on the same level as the content that Fox has or Time Warner
No,
has?
Oprah makes something people fucking listen.
Yeah,
They
she
watch
just
it.
gives people shows. You get a show,
Dude.
and you get a show. Look under your seat. You get a show.
You laugh, but Oprah makes something
I'm
people will
laughing
fucking
at
watch
that
it.
one.
People will watch it. I'm
I'm not saying people won't watch it. I'm just saying she is not in the same league as a
She
conglomerate.
created Dr. Phil, which created Bad Baby.
And
There you go.
Geez.
There you go. And
Who I
so
saw live at EDC a few weeks ago.
unfortunately for you.
Unfortunately, yeah.
What about Lil Tay? Lil Tay's
Oh.
crazy, yo.
Well, I don't think that Oprah created that.
I don't know any of these people. Marlene, this is
Marlene, this is the show. in a
this is
nutshell.
insanity. Don't you
I
feel
hope that you're enjoying yourself.
I am. It's
she's just
great.
along for the ride? But don't you feel like this? If this happens and everything eventually is owned by three people, like there's less places for creatives to pitch stuff to sell movies. If it's not a giant blockbuster, it's just going to make it harder for people to get in the business.
Yeah, I agree. It's pushing independent creators further and further down from public view. It's also just scary to think that somebody has more money than Disney. Like that's
Right?
Yeah, doesn't that scare the shit out of you?
Ooh, yes.
All
that-
cash, everything.
yeah, I was shocked. That's like everything. And, the government may
Like they
stop
collected
Comcast.
all the ones from
Yeah,
all the strip
yes.
clubs, and they're like, "This is going here now."
Every goddamn TV service sports fee that's on those fucking bills, we are going to collect all that. And like that's
Like
aggressive.
they have it to spare.
Yeah,
like they
that's-
have it to spare to buy some
It's
shit.
balls. That's balls. You know
That's
they
just
gotta be
crazy.
waiting to buy something. Jeez. So speaking of Marvel, the Avengers officially crosses $2 billion.
Oh, shit.
Chump change.
Compared to what Comcast
65 billion
Yes.
cash.
But this is the first MCU movie to cross $2 billion. It's the fourth movie ever to do that. Zoe Saldana, now the only performer to get star billing in $2 billion movies. But she's green in one and she's blue in the other one. So
She just has to be purple and red, and then she's got them all
she's
covered.
got all the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
And
I want to
interesting.
hear what Marlene thought about Infinity War.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I liked it.
Oh, just lights?
Oh, that was
No.
a question.
Yeah.
No, I did. I liked it. I was surprised, even though I knew it would happen. I was still surprised by the ending somehow.
Can we guess like what your favorite Marvel movie is?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
let's see. I'm gonna say
Man, this is hard for me.
I'm gonna say Guardians 2.
Nope.
Oh shit.
I'm just going to go and say Winter Soldier, the easy one.
Nope.
Wow.
You're not gonna guess.
I'm going to
Oh,
say.
we're not going to guess.
Oh, you're
this
not.
is
So we're
good.
not going to guess it. So I have to think of something a little different. I'm going to say
Ant-Man?
no. I'm going to say Thor.
Yep.
The first Thor.
Yeah.
Wow. No, that's a solid movie. We've had a lot
I
of
think
people.
we got a little chemistry here, Marlene. you want to take me out to dinner?
So I can steal your jacket? Sure.
Yeah, steal my members
Get a
only
members
jacket.
only jacket.
There you go.
That's your own jacket.
Stop it with you and your abs, Anthony. Guys
Or
with abs
really,
are always
why?
so
Yeah, why
for-
Thor?
So objectively, it's not like a great movie, and I completely acknowledge that. Like, it's not great. But something about how silly and campy it is, and how it has, I think, one of the first really strong Marvel villains. I don't know. It just kind of stuck with me, and I really liked it.
That's a good
When,
point.
when you rewatch Thor, I looked at some like reviews up to leading to Avengers Infinity War, and they were going back and rewatching some of these old movies. And Thor is interesting because when Thor came out, that was they were trying to meld at this point a weird like Thor, gods,
magic and gods.
in this world that they built that was basically Iron Man. It was all tech and all kind of real world based. So they were throwing this, and they were trying to like meld it in as seamlessly as possible. So they were putting a lot of it on Earth and kind of downplaying Asgard. So it was a weird time where now you got like in Thor Ragnarok where they're going completely like full out Jack Kirby, weird science, weird.
You got Doctor
space
Strange,
stuff.
magic
it's
spells.
It's just interesting looking back at that time, and they were so
It probably
cautious.
plays
about that.
better at looking back at it.
Yeah. I mean, Kenneth Branagh. Jesus, you can't go wrong.
Touch
with Kenneth
angles.
Branagh
Let's
directing.
go.
And Loki, of course. We really made us love Loki even more.
If you watch that film, like Loki is a completely different character
Oh, completely.
from
Yeah.
how he is now.
They watered him down now?
I wouldn't say he just evolved.
Oh,
a
he's
different
evolved.
character.
Okay, he's
yeah.
evolved organically.
He did a 180, yeah.
He was like very bratty and very
Jealous.
jealous. Yeah, he's just super jealous and super emotional about things. And now he's like very just he just knows who he is. Where in that movie
Well,
he doesn't
now
know.
he's. Are spoilers okay?
Oh, yeah, fuck yeah, spoil
Everyone,
the shit out of
everyone
it.
has seen the fucking movie.
Well, now he's dead, so now he's not anything.
Is he dead now? You think who's
Yeah,
dead?
he's dead.
Who's dead from Infinity War? Pre-snap, definitely dead. Post-snap, maybe not. What do you think, Marlene?
I kind of hope he stays dead, even though I actually really like the character. I feel like his character would have way more weight in the universe if he didn't come back when they brought him all back.
I hope they keep him. I hope
I
they keep
think
him
he's
dead
dead.
too. They shouldn't reverse some of those. Now, like the Vision, you could rebuild him. He's a machine. He's got parts. He's get other parts.
I hope he's dead,
light him
too.
back up. I think they could use the Vision moving forward. Also, what's interesting is Infinity War has not made more domestically than Black Panther.
Not yet.
Not yet, but
I think let me look. There's a comparison on
Black Panther is at like $699. I think it's almost like 700
after
million.
49 days domestically. Avengers: Infinity War is $2 million ahead of Black Panther.
Oh, it is ahead now.
It's after 49 days. So
Okay.
at this time, with 49 days running, Black Panther was $2 million behind.
Wow. Okay.
I don't actually think Black Panther still finished higher domestically because I think Infinity War is running up against a lot more competition.
Yeah, because it's later in the summer.
Right.
We got lots of crazy movies coming out. Okay, last thing for the news. Marlene, are you a Game of Thrones fan?
I am.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Who's your favorite character? Can we guess? Let's guess. This one.
This one's probably going to be a little
It's
easier.
Iron
Yeah, go
Man.
ahead.
Oh, wait, no, that was the other thing. Sorry.
Is it Brienne of Tarth?
Oh,
No, I really like her, but no.
oh,
it's
that's
not.
a
So
good guess.
Danny.
No.
No.
Not Daenerys. Theon Greyjoy?
No.
Tyrion. Tyrion.
Yeah.
There you
Tyrion is
go.
my
That's
favorite
the
too.
obvious answer.
Yes,
like
that
everybody
was-
loves
that one's
Tyrion.
easier.
Dude, fucking
Yeah.
Tyrion from season 1. Peter Dinklage is the best. Giant dwarf Eitri or little Tyrion?
Marlene, did you know that they didn't watch Game of Thrones until I browbeat them
We
to do
caught up
it?
last year.
Oh man.
Like, they were
all
not-
that time and
Yes.
you didn't have it in your life?
Dude, I've been
No.
telling them, and they were like, "Shut up,
We were-
dragons! Who gives
yeah,
a
we
fuck?"
were being
and I'm like,
dumb.
"Dude, just watch it, and you'll understand."
You can listen to us review season by season and discover it like for the first time way after everybody. We were the last.
and then
people
it's just me saying, "I told you so."
God damn
pretty
it.
Now
much.
go back and read the books.
What? Reading? Wait a minute.
Reading,
That was
yeah, what the
not
fuck is that?
part of the
Who
sixth,
reads?
sixth book is even out yet.
Who reads?
So you
though?
read the books?
I did,
Oh
yeah.
wow.
So how do you feel about the books versus the show?
They're different. The books are good, but they're also really difficult to get through at parts
what I heard.
he's one of those writers
They're
that
like
just,
laborious.
It's a little wordy.
Yeah.
Little wordy, George.
So I think they did a really good job of translating that into like a more palatable version.
So what
for
did
the
you think
show.
of the last season where it was really streamlined, a little bit fan servicey, and they're going off notes from George Martin?
Yeah, they took a pretty different direction for some of the characters than their fates in the book so far.
Oh.
But I'm okay with it. Like I think it's really cool and interesting, and I'm glad they're finally doing something and getting somewhere compared to
Right.
the books, which we're still waiting for.
Yeah, who knows when that's coming out? What may be coming out before that is this Game of Thrones prequel. HBO's been working on like 5 different prequels. They picked one and gave it a pilot order. It's supposed to take place thousands of years before the Game of Thrones storyline and possibly be about the origins of the White Walkers, the First Men, the Children of the Forest, which we got. That was the last season we got to meet, right? With Bran,
Children of the
Yep.
Forest.
season 7.
Little green folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We met them a little earlier than.
Well, because wasn't season 6, there was no Bran. I was like, where the fuck is Bran? Nothing.
was
The
5.
whole, well, it was 5 and then he comes back in 6. But that I'd be down. I'd be down for that.
It's like it's supposed to be like 5,000 years before this part, and
Whoa.
it's supposed to include how the Starks became who they are as well.
Ooh.
You're gonna have such a void when Game of Thrones is over. You'll take anything.
Oh, I'm
think,
already all over this too.
like when that's over. You're gonna be like, "What the fuck?" Like there's no good TV on anymore. So you're gonna want to watch it.
Marlene,
It's just-
will
there's
this
no
be
way around
enough
it.
after Game of Thrones to satiate the Game of Thrones fans?
I think I'll be okay because I'm also really into Westworld, and I feel like that's good.
Westworld's the shit.
Yeah.
This season of Westworld, bro, it's a little crazy. I love all the action, way more action.
You just call Marlene bro?
Bro,
you can call me bro. That's fine.
She's cool. I knew. She's down.
Oh, shit.
Down. Yeah, Westworld this season has been very exciting. Of course.
He just never talks like that on the show.
Bro,
when he's talking to us two, he's never bros out with us.
Are you switching now? What's happening?
No. Oh, I'm the jock now. Look, brah.
Well, you did do CrossFit.
Bro, I used to CrossFit, bro. Ew, get out. Okay, we're back. And I'm excited for the Game of Thrones. Look, we're going to take a quick break and come back with Cloak and Dagger. First 2 episodes right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Robert.
We're hosts of the Two Bobs podcast.
Check out our show at thetwobobs.com.
We talk about beer, food, weird news,
some pop culture, sports, and our obsession with technology.
and just general BS with our own brand of comedy and sarcastic wit.
Also, be sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Two Bobs Podcast.
Hey, this is the Toph, host of the Gravity Beard Podcast, a variety show with interviews and discussions on a wide range of topics. Our guests have included a viral YouTube star, a former child actor. We've even had a guy on who may have solved the D.B. Cooper case. It's a delicious box of audio chocolate. You never know what you'll get. Find it on Podbean, iTunes, and other places you listen to podcasts. It's the Gravity Beard Podcast. It's what your ears will want to be listening to.
Listener, if you've been enjoying the show and you want to help out, you want to support the show, you get back a little something. All you got to do is visit our fan club, sign up at jockandnerd.com/Patreon, where you will get bonus content. There are stickers. You can have us review a movie. You can come on the show. You get a t-shirt at one tier, and everybody gets our thanks. Thank you so much. And thank you to new patron this week, Matt Miller, joining the fan club on Patreon. Thank you very much, Matt. This week, you could hear, Anthony, you did some more work. We got a new, I'm calling it Jock Talk. A new episode of Jock Talk on the Patreon feed.
Yeah, I decided to get with listeners Chaz Hubbard and this time Jimmy the Geek
right
to
on.
talk about the NBA Finals and the NHL Finals. So more so the NBA Finals.
I love that, like, you are getting together with our listeners and creating content for the community. Like,
well, you like that I'm doing work.
Yeah, you're actually doing something.
Yes, you fucking are doing something. Unbelievable. It makes me so proud of you, Anthony. He's a big boy. He's all grown up, people. He's all grown up. And if you want a sample of the kind of stuff we have at the Patreon, there is a free clip up there. I will link to it in the show notes. And it's a clip where we, Marlene, we have this sound clip from one of our friends. He's been on the show. His name is Mike Rips. This is the very first thing he said on the show. Yeah. It is such a joyous piece of audio that it,
What is that?
Right? Doesn't it make you laugh?
It's just an exclamation of joy.
So we realized that clip pairs really well with the little wins in life. For example, Anthony, you want to give me one?
I was not ready for this at all, so no, I don't want to give you one.
Give me one.
I got gross ones.
Okay, give me a gross one.
It's like when you see a picture of your ex and she doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Okay, I fucked that up. Let's reset. How about let's start with something benign, like I'm driving to work this morning. I got all the green lights. The little.
Or how about when you're at the airport and they wave you past the X-ray machine? It's just like a little wave.
That's a good one. That's a good. Anthony, you got one now?
No.
Marlene, I'm gonna put you on the
Marlene
spot.
intimidates me.
Marlene,
how about this one? I got one more.
Yeah.
You're pulling into a parking lot just as someone else is getting out of a prime spot. You swoop in there.
That's a good one. Marlene, you must have one. You see how this goes.
When you step out onto the subway platform and the train is just pulling in.
That is exactly what that clip represents. So the free clip is like 10 minutes of that, of us just crying.
It goes into very weird places.
You know what this reminded me of, this segment? It's like when everyone go to your first dance and everyone's dancing on the dance floor and I'm just standing against the wall. That was how I felt.
Oh, wait. Which, in the free clip segment?
You had nothing?
Because I had nothing. I had nothing. I was just standing against the wall.
I actually wrote a bunch of them. So.
Oh yeah, you give me another one.
Oh shit! Now I gotta get my phone.
Okay.
All right, let me get my hand on. Can you give me the phone? All right, let me see. I have to have someone's hand in my Slack hole, so it's like
that's right. The Slack hole hand has to operate.
Okay. When you return, when you buy something and then you return it, even though it's broken, and they take it anyway.
Or when you return,
it's like the Home Depot ploy, you know.
Or when you return something without a receipt and they take it.
All right. How about when you're speeding, but the cop pulls someone else over? You got smooth sailing.
That's a good one.
That's good.
Marlene, you got one more?
Nope, I'm tapped out.
All right. Well,
just like Anthony.
Moving on, we're going to talk about...
Hi, Marlene.
Hi, Marlene. Anthony has signed in as Hi, Marlene. It's not creepy at all.
No.
Spoilers, everybody.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
We're going to review the first 2 episodes of Cloak and Dagger from Marvel on Freeform. Their latest.
That's such a shitty name for a station.
It really
like a channel.
is, and it kind of like it almost makes you not want to watch. Like I gotta watch something on Freeform. What is this? But
it sounds like someone's going to do poetry.
Yes, it's nothing but open mic slams.
Yeah, just go buy the congas and watch Cloak and Dagger.
Just train of thought nonsense. Cloak and Dagger, of course, published by Marvel Comics. First appearance, Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, number 64 in 1982. Created by Bill Mantlo and Ed Hannigan. I think I may have this issue. I don't know. This may be one I'm missing.
Definitely have.
But I have a lot of the Peter Parkers from back then. Marlene, let's just start with you. This is what we usually do with our reviews is we just go around and we do our opening thoughts. And we kind of also give our backstory or history with the character. So what did you know about the Cloak and Dagger going into this? And then what did you think of the first 2 episodes overall?
I honestly knew absolutely nothing about Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, see, that's important. That's important.
They were more of like a 90s thing or an 80s thing.
Late 80s and 90s, yeah.
So you're completely
I never really
fine,
caught up with them. Yeah. I like the show, though. I had some issues with it, but I read up a little bit about what the characters were originally, and I think they did a really good job of switching it up. So,
yeah, I will agree.
Imran, you'll have to go over that with us.
I will. I definitely will. But it's a very important thing that they've done in the show. Rugboy, what's your relationship with Cloak and Dagger, and what'd you think?
Well, I wasn't really a big fan of the comic Cloak and Dagger. It was a very like street level comic where they would go and fuck with like drug dealers and shit, and like. Which is, it was cool, but like, it was never like I like the big fucking adventures, you know what I mean?
Right.
And every once in a while they'd appear in like an X-Men comic or a Spider-Man comic or something, and then they would be part of a big adventure. And so like, I got to know them through that more than their actual, comic that they had for themselves. But, yeah, I'm pretty familiar with them, so.
And what'd you think of the show, the first 2 episodes overall?
It was different. It was different than I expected. I mean, not that I expected. It's just different than what they were. But it's not in a horribly bad way.
Okay, I guess that's a positive.
Yeah.
It's a plus. Anthony, same questions.
As far as my history of Cloak and Dagger, when I was buying comics in like 2011, I would see the covers, I think.
Yeah.
Sometimes they had them out on the shelves, and all I knew about Cloak and Dagger was white girl, black guy, light and dark. That's all I knew. So that's all. I've never really read any of those comics or anything like that. It never really appealed to me. Only because I just never grew up with them. I never knew who those characters were. They were never on TV or anything. As far as the show, I was like, fuck, man, Imran, why you got to make me watch this bullshit again? I was like, Freeform, like that's Disney Family. Immediately turn on like Freeform, or I turned on demand, and there's commercials for like slut shaming and stuff. I'm like, this is not Disney Family. What the fuck is this? Yeah. But actually pleasantly surprised with the first 2 episodes. I liked what was going on. I liked that it's kind of like I don't really know what's going to happen, and I'm still kind of confused on what their powers even are. But I'm enjoying kind of where they've gone with that with the I don't know his name, so I'm gonna. Is it Dagger? What's his name?
Tandy is the girl, and Ty is the boy.
So I like that Ty. It's like kind of breaking those little stereotypes that you would have. Ty is coming from the well-off family, even though he is African American, and Tandy is coming from the poor trailer park family, even though she's white. So I like kind of like that.
Yeah, in the comics, it's actually opposite. Yeah,
yeah, and that's what you would that's what we've been conditioned to expect. But so this is kind of playing with that a little bit.
Right on. I myself, I know, like the listener knows, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I've always been reading Spider-Man, and I know them from the Spider-Man universe. Visually, I always love the concept of the dark guy in the cloak and the light, and they're connected. He's kind of he needs her. Always thought it was a cool concept. The show, I think I agree with Marlene. I think it improves on the comic book in a lot of ways. The original characters, like we said, created in '82, a little bit stereotypical, a little on the nose. Yeah, the black,
super stereotypical.
So here's the main. This is what their origin was in the comic books. They're both teenage runaways. They meet, but Ty's from Boston, from a not a good family, and Tandy is from a well-off family, and she runs away. Then they're kidnapped by someone who's like a shady chemist, and he's inventing a new form of heroin, and he tests on them, and it gives them powers. So right away, they have flipped the dynamic of the base characters, and I loved it. I thought that was such a great idea. So I love these 2 episodes of the show. I watched the 3rd one. It aired yesterday. I'm totally in. Surprisingly dark, like we all said, for something on Freeform. I didn't think it would be that dark. They're swearing. They're letting them swear. Like it was very good. Let's start with what worked for everyone. Marlene, give me one thing that worked for you in the show.
I thought it looked really good. Like the cinematography and the quality of it was surprisingly good for a TV show. It didn't look cheap at all, which was nice.
No, I love the directing and the
storytelling.
I
have a really weird random question. Did anybody else actually get the feeling that they were in New Orleans? Because I didn't.
So that's interesting that.
That was a weird thing. Yeah.
It's set in New Orleans, and the 3rd episode brings in more New Orleans-y stuff.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I agree with Marlene. I had to, if I didn't look it up and know that this was in New Orleans, I would have had no idea.
There's only one scene where they're on the bridge.
Yeah.
And you could see like the river and everything that was like New Orleans-y.
Yeah.
Because they're on the bay. There's a lot of bridges in New Orleans and stuff like that. If you seen any other movies with New Orleans in it, you'll know that like there's a lot of like water and bridges. And
I thought the same thing going into the 3rd episode. I was like, I forgot, what city are they in? Oh,
well, I just automatically assumed Netflix. Like Netflix has all their shows in New York. This is in New York.
But the thing about it is,
looks like New York. Yeah.
But visually, it could pass for New Orleans. But the thing that bothered me is that the people didn't seem like they were from New Orleans.
That's
They seemed like very generic. They didn't seem like, there wasn't any kind of like drawl or anything like that. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, because if you watch like True Blood,
right?
Everyone's got they're in New Orleans, so there's like a whole like country. There's a whole like New Orleans Southern vibe to it, a little bit of flavor.
You're not seeing a lot of culture so far in the first 2 episodes.
But that can be overdone, almost like cartoonish if it's not handled well, especially in New Orleans. It does seem generic. I'll tell you, the 3rd episode is all about fucking voodoo and black magic.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes. So
you watched it, huh?
I watched it last night because I really dug the show. I'm excited to see how they connect, how they figure out what's going on. I loved Marlene. I loved the direction. The first episode directed by Gina Price Bythewood, who is directing the Silver and Black movie, which has been pulled from Sony's release schedule.
She did Love and Basketball and Beyond the Lights, which are in the same wheelhouse as this. I mean, it's not like superhero stuff, but it's definitely the same age group, the same demographic they're going for. So
I mean, I feel like it's a step above the CW shows. It's not as cheesy and spoon-feddy,
Well, when you have like a filmmaker that's made like films, you can see it in the directing.
In that second episode, the introduction of the detective without any dialogue in her scenes. Fucking brilliant. It was great. Yeah. I really love how they did that. Why you don't need dialogue. Just like you said, Ruggs, they're showing us instead of telling us.
Yeah, I love when they do that. I hate when every exposition is in some kind of speech.
What'd you guys think of the cast? Olivia Holt playing Dagger, Aubrey Joseph playing Cloak.
Cloak was the standout for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely like a quiet, but you have so much going on inside. He's kind of emoting, but without saying anything, just his presence there says so much.
Very intense, yeah.
And like his family, his mother was very good.
That whole story is great. And this is what I like, what they improved on the comic book. They made it more topical. It's a cop shooting that's been buried under, and he's trying to get the cop who shot his brother. Olivia Holt, I kind of buy her as this girl who sneaks into parties and steals shit. Like, I think she plays that very well. I love that.
I liked actually both of them. The only thing I had was Tandy, Olivia Holt.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Tandy. If she's sleeping in a church, how does she look so clean all the time?
She goes to her mom's house. I don't know.
I felt like there should have been a little more ruggedness.
She just hangs out there to do drugs. And
a little more ruggedness to like what she's wearing and like how her conditions at. I mean, it's a fucking abandoned ass church.
Yeah.
How's she looking so good?
It's a good point. It's a good point.
People just got it like that.
I know. That's a little CW. Like everyone looks fucking perfect.
I mean,
all
that's
the time.
TV. It's for the most part. Some TV shows don't.
It's not always TV.
Yeah. But that's kind of a nod to the comic books too. I think they lived.
You want to know what I have as a critique?
Okay.
And this is like really shitty for me to say this, but the girl who played young Dagger.
Okay, the little ballet girl.
I was like, is she even acting?
What?
Like, she's just standing there.
Who cares? What do you got against her? She's getting the job done. What are you talking about?
I would have seen the kid was great. Like young Cloak was awesome.
Oh, he's
like,
good. Yeah,
he was so much better than her. I don't know.
She wasn't that great.
Yeah.
Okay.
How old is she? Like 5? You suck, kid.
Yeah. Do better.
Get some acting, kid.
You may want to think about changing your career, kid.
Right.
Well,
it's harsh.
Well, no, it's not the actor's fault. It's the director's fault. They could have used the person better in it. It made it seem less staged. So, but that was the only weak part of the whole thing for me. Was the young ballerina thing, and the fact that she's sitting there just in the street for like 3 hours
in the rain. That was kind of weird.
But she was like doing ballet in the rain, right?
Who leaves their kid in the rain for like an hour? Like, what do you do?
Yeah,
That
horrible.
That was strange because she was like, they were trying to play up later that she had a good family. But I was like, you don't have a fucking good family. You've been hanging out in the street for hours.
If that was real, like that kid would have been freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
I love how once that accident happens, the dynamics flip.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
They kind of become each other's lives, which is also very well done. And I kind of like how they started with this origin. You really don't need any more explanation. Like, you kind of get it. And the MCU connection to Roxxon, the dark dimension, that's awesome. Like, this exists in the MCU. We've heard of Roxxon and Iron Man and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
They shouldn't do anything other than that.
That should be it. They don't need to do anything else.
They should let this show stand on its own rather than like try to find ways to tie it into things.
I mean, this could seriously exist in the Netflix Marvel universe.
Absolutely.
It could.
Yeah, I thought this is up there with the Netflix shows. It's how good
but it doesn't need to connect. Like stuff is in New York. There's no reason anything from New York should connect to New Orleans.
Right. No, you shouldn't have an outward connection to it, but you could like feel like that they're in New Orleans doing their thing and they're in New York doing their thing and they're never going to cross paths, but they kind of exist in the same universe.
I would agree with that.
Marlene, does it matter to you if these shows have any connective tissue, like all the shows that Marvel's doing?
I don't really care if this show is super connected to the other ones. I think it's standing on its own pretty well. I think it would actually make things a little messy if they tried to really tie them in.
Yes, that's what usually happens.
Because once you start to try to do the mental gymnastics of when this is occurring in the universe, you're like, wait a minute, my head starts to hurt. This is not enjoyable
anymore. That's what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. always tries to shoehorn something in, and that never really works that well. They should just abandon that. Well, you know, another thing I thought worked for the most part was the music. The music choices. Certain times, the music was really powerful and really helped the scene. Now, there's a lot of this, like, new music, I guess.
I kind of liked, and
but I'm digging it.
Now you've watched the third episode, so I want to ask you questions, but I won't since we're not reviewing that. But I don't know what their powers really are, and I kind of like that. I'm kind of like that. I'm figuring it out as we go along.
We will figure out as they figure it out.
Well, I like the whole revenge angle where he knows that this guy fucking killed his brother, and he's got something for his ass, and he's eventually gonna do something about it, and you're like waiting for that comeuppance. So
you want him to do something to this guy, but you also have been told, I think,
shouldn't.
But you shouldn't, and that would be the wrong choice. So
this is his great power comes great responsibility. This is his Uncle Ben moment. It's very powerful, because the guy is right there. But I love Cloak's powers in this. I love the idea. I've always liked the idea that, because sometimes I'm like an introvert and I don't want to see people, and that you could just cover yourself in a blanket and then you're gone. You're someplace else. You open it up, you're someplace else. Like, that is just a very cool power, whether you can control it or not.
And he can take people into the dimension with him.
Marlene, what do you think of their powers? How do you think it works so far?
I actually want to tie this back into the thing you mentioned about music.
Yeah.
I liked some of the music choices. I thought they were good, but I'm kind of unnerved by the sound design in the show overall.
Interesting.
So like with their powers don't make sounds.
No, they don't.
And I'm so used to hearing some kind of sound.
It's like a bam for something like that.
Like a bam for a pop.
Yeah.
Or something that like really threw me off. Like when she stabbed the guy with the dagger and no sound at all. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And at first I really disliked it. I'm kind of getting used to it now, and I kind of think it was a really stylistic choice. What do you guys think?
But you're right. Like, that could give a whole personality to something. Like when you hear the lightsaber go off, it makes a sound, and that sound is fucking, or you hear Wolverine's claws pop.
Snicket.
It's distinct. So
but
like,
if you want to get science geeky, like, does light make a sound? Does darkness, is it going to make a sound?
Does light make a sound?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Light doesn't make a sound. And a lightsaber makes a sound. But
that's a good point. I didn't even notice that was the case, that they didn't have sounds for these powers. And that makes it more unexpected every time.
Yeah, it does. It weirded me out, but I'm kind of liking it now.
It adds like a dose of realism.
It does
I guess to it.
Yes,
but
it's more grounded.
But it also adds like Marlene got the feeling of, it adds that creepiness vibe to this.
Yeah.
Like, where this is like very strange. What is going on?
It's really weird that this is like walking like a line where you don't really know how you feel about it exactly. It's strange. Like, usually you're polarized. You're either like you fucking hate it or you love it. So you're like, it's crazy when you're kind of sitting on the fence there.
They've done a great job to slow tease this relationship and like get you sucked in. And it's clearly this dual narrative link powers. In the comic books, there's a weird thing where he's like addicted to her. Like, she's like a drug to him. Like, he needs her.
He needs her light
to survive. I don't know if they're going to do that. I think
they're definitely connected.
They're connected. They're most powerful together.
They've kept items from each other.
How bad did you feel for that dude, though?
Oh, her boyfriend?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's screwed. Well, no, but he has a... You'll
fucking ponied up all that money.
I didn't understand that. Why did she, decide on that moment that was the time to, just be like, I can never see you?
She got overwhelmed. She was like, this dude is way too intimate.
Yeah, he actually loves me.
Yeah, it's something only a woman understands.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got a little freaked out.
She had to bounce.
Her thing is running. That's what, her mom calls it. Her mom's a piece of shit too. It's great. And that dude he's always wearing that pink
the robe.
The robe.
Yeah.
That dude shows up in that pink robe every time. It's he's just a drunk lawyer. But her mom's like, oh, time for Tandy to run. Things get tough again. So that's clearly her journey, and he has his journey. Kind of resolving the revenge. I'm in.
I got a minor critique, and it's hard to make this critique because the show hasn't played out, so we're only on 2 episodes. But I would hope that the cop actually isn't a bad guy, because it's initially played off like he shoots the kid because the explosion goes off and he panics.
Right, it was kind of accidental.
So I would hope that they just continue down that route, that he just made a mistake.
That's a good
and that
point.
He's not actually a fucking crooked cop that they've been.
He didn't shoot him in the back. And
Didn't he have drugs though? Didn't he have drugs in the back of the car?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I already don't like that he's like this.
They made him a
crooked
dirty cop for no
reason. But they
reason.
covered it up. That's the thing. That's the fucking bigger crime.
Right. But like
that they fucking covered it.
Like,
up.
let's say he was a good guy, and he just fucking made a mistake, and like they were covering it up because he's a good cop. Like, I think narratively that'd be like even more of like
that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Like this tug of should he kill him? Well, no, because this guy's actually just made a mistake, and he finds out that he's not a crooked cop.
That reminds me of Fruitvale Station.
No, they totally played it up in Fruitvale Station like he was a crooked cop.
Right, I'm saying he said he grabbed it by accident, but he was a crooked. Oh, so it's the flip. But yeah,
I'm saying he's not the bad person.
They've made him a dirty. Yeah, they're gonna make him a dirty
a dirty person. Yeah,
which is a little cliche.
I think you have to make him bad. You just have to, because then he's not. Then Cloak doesn't seem as heroic by comparison.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm wondering who the bad guy is. I don't know who the bad guy is. I don't think we've seen him yet. I think they're definitely.
I think they're gonna get to Roxanne. I think that's gonna be the main thing. Why did we get these powers?
Yeah. And the fact that maybe his dad wasn't.
Her dad
maybe
killed.
wasn't a good guy, or he was doing something.
I feel like though they're subverting some of the stuff that you expect. So to go to like the corporation being the big bad evil would kind of just be a cop out for me.
It turns into an Iron Fist thing there.
Well, it just turns into every other thing. The corporation is the bad guy.
Well, I hope I see more like New Orleans stuff, like you guys said, and we will. Episode 3's got some voodoo stuff, but I think it's just going to be a nice organic relationship between these two, figuring out how their powers work. Will you guys keep watching? I'm in.
Now, regardless of whether I keep watching or not, how long do you think this thing has? Does this have legs? Is it going to be on more than one season? Is it going to be one and done? Like, what do you think? Are people connecting to it? Are you hearing buzz about it? What's on your radar?
I mean, I think, it's interesting because Runaways on Hulu kind of came and went.
Right.
It was okay. I kind of like this a little bit better than Runaways, but that's different being that it's subscription Hulu. Like, they don't care. Like, it'll be there. People can sign up and watch it. This, ratings-wise, I think if word of mouth is good, like, I think people will really catch on to it. I think they will like it because it's a little more mature than what you thought. It's dark.
I mean, to be honest, I don't even know what the fuck is on Freeform. They're all on for like seasons.
No, I have no idea.
So like, there's Pretty Little Liars. I mean, I don't watch that, but like, it's been on.
Yeah,
it's been on
super
for a while.
Too.
Super popular, yeah.
So
I think it will get people to check out
they don't have the same kind of like benchmarks to hit as the network stuff. So
right.
But surprisingly good for a station.
Imran, to answer your question, I will watch the 3rd episode. I will keep watching until I think it turns bad.
Okay.
And then I'll stop. But so far I'm in. I'll watch the 3rd episode. As far as it lasting, the reviews are good. And like we mentioned, Freeform doesn't have the expectations that maybe other channels might have. So if the reviews are good, I don't see any reason why this wouldn't keep going.
The marketing's been pretty good, too.
Yeah.
Like, here in New York City, there's posters for Cloak and Dagger everywhere. And Tumblr just did interviews with the 2 main characters, too, with all these gifts and stuff. So I feel like they're doing a pretty good job of marketing it.
And I mean, people see that red Marvel logo, that's going to get their attention and be like, oh, what's this? Okay. And I love, just visually the aesthetic of the contrast of the dark and the light, the black and the white. So far, really well done on the show. Marlene, you're going to keep watching? Yeah,
I'm going to keep watching.
Right on.
I'm going to keep watching because I like the story and also because I want to see more of Ty's mom. I think she's really cool.
Oh, yeah. And that's, that's a strong...
Why does she carry around a gun?
Because she's badass.
I think that's really just it.
But she's from Mr. Robot. She's the shrink in Mr. Robot.
She's been in a bunch of stuff. She was on ER also back in the day.
But are they hinting at like that her family is threatened and that she needs to do this?
Well, that's where he got the gun.
That's where he got. Why does she have the gun? There's many more mysteries to be solved.
She's like, I'm gonna get that raccoon in garbage.
She was shooting at raccoons. I was like, that's weird. So episode 3 it's almost very abstract and dreamlike. It does something that's a little confusing. But when you watch the whole episode, like it's fucking very satisfying and cool. So
all right, well, I'm
just
gonna check
let
it out.
roll.
I'll give it one more.
What the fuck's going on for a while? But then it's really good. It's really good. I recommend this show. Right on. Good stuff. Okay, look, we got a couple of voicemails with some questions and things to play in our mailbag, and we will wrap up the show. Talking Nerd.
Hey guys, it's Louis Paz. I just wanted to kind of check in and see if you guys were going to talk about the Daredevil upcoming Netflix series and the speculation behind the Bullseye appearance. It looks like comicbook.com, I think it was, that reported it first about the Bullseye logo being on the jacket from an Instagram post or something like that from the set. Could be Bullseye, could be his radar sense. I mean, that's something that's always been used as Daredevil's radar sense in the books. But the color scheme definitely suggests Bullseye, so I'm hoping it is Bullseye. But just wanted to see your thoughts when you thought about that. Also, the possibility of Moon Knight character having his own series on Netflix. I think Jeff Loeb was the one who mentioned that. I don't remember who it was, but also wanted to hear what you guys thought about that. And lastly, I just jumped into the Wolverine Long Night podcast.
Yes.
Super high quality stuff. The actors are great. I mean, it's something I didn't even think I'd get into. If you guys didn't mention it a few times already, you probably wouldn't have. But yeah, it's definitely really cool. 3 chapters in. If Anthony and Rug Boy haven't listened to it yet, you definitely just listen to the first chapter in the trailer, and I'm pretty sure you'll get into it. You just got to find the time where you can kind of like focus in on just the sound. But anyhow, guys, Appreciate it.
Talking nerd. There you go. I want to ask Marlene if she digs the Netflix Marvel shows and if she has a favorite one.
I dig some of the Netflix Marvel shows.
Yeah, they're not all gems.
Iron Fist is not one of the ones that I dig.
Correct.
Jessica Jones and Luke Cage are pretty good.
Yes.
And Daredevil is pretty good. I'm excited. I think they just, the Bullseye thing is for the Netflix show, right?
Yes.
For Daredevil season 3, they have cast this dude. His name is Wilson Bethel. And a hashtag show is saying reportedly they have cast him as Bullseye.
Whoa.
And I thought they were going to do Born Again, the Frank Miller story. Marlene, you familiar with the Born Again story? Have you read that?
I am not.
Oh, it's really good. It's where Kingpin kind of takes down Matt Murdock as a person instead of Daredevil. He gets Karen Page hooked on heroin.
It's really fucked up.
She in turn gives up Matt Murdock's identity to Wilson Fisk. It is dark. It's amazing. And they kind of alluded to in the last season of Daredevil, that last shot where he's on the bed with the nun. That's like the first page of Born Again. So I don't know if they're gonna. D'Onofrio's gonna be back as Wilson Fisk. We're gonna have Bullseye.
Well, maybe just Bullseye will be just to add some flavor and make you like a little bit more.
It'll be like a little side villain.
Yeah.
He can't do worse than the Colin Farrell Bullseye. So.
I'm on board. This guy has a jawline that could cut a bitch, so
yes,
we're good.
There you go. You need a nice sharp jawline.
I mean, the Colin Farrell Bullseye isn't great, but it's gonna live forever.
Oh,
like,
it's entertaining.
That. Yeah, it's entertaining.
You can't forget that ever.
He killed a guy with paper clips.
Yeah,
it's amazing. He's standing on the motorcycle somehow.
Oh my god, that movie.
So regarding Moon Knight, Daredevil showrunner Stephen S. DeKnight has said that he would love to do Moon Knight. That's all. There's nothing about a Moon Knight. But he's like, hey.
Moon Knight could be a real trip if you did that show. Like the schizophrenic person with multiple personalities.
If you made him crazy, if you made it like a Legion.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
With ass kicking.
Yes, like a psychotic
Legion
Batman.
plus like karate. Like you put those things together, you got something good.
It's Batman with schizophrenia. That's all it is. It's really good. Marlene, you a fan of Moon Knight? Would you like to see a Moon Knight Netflix show?
Yeah, I would totally be down for that. Be something different.
Yeah. His story is crazy. And then a couple of other Netflix notes to finish up. Jeff Lovett said there's no plans for Defender Season 2. I think that's fine.
You did it once. You blew it.
Marlene,
Let's not go back to
did you see the first Defenders? Would you want a second season?
I did see... Yeah, I saw the first season. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need another season.
Yeah,
I'm good.
That's fine. That's good.
I've had my fill.
Yes.
Yeah, that was... You can't blow the first season and then put another season out there.
There's no... Maybe do Heroes for Hire instead.
Speaking of blowing the first season, why Iron Fist 2? Why are we getting another season of that?
Why?
Yes. I mean, look, we all said this is the worst. It's the worst one.
I'm Danny Rand. I'm the Immortal Iron Fist.
I am the Immortal Iron Fist, and it is my destiny to take care of the hand.
Dude,
Shut the fuck up. Oh, Danny's up there checking his chi on the roof. What the fuck is that?
He's the most...
I've got to recharge.
What did you call him? He's like the softest...
He's the softest superhero martial artist guy I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I have a better physique than that guy with my shirt off. By far. Like, why are you so doughy? Like, why are you so skinny fat?
He's skinny fat.
I thought you had discipline.
He doesn't even do karate.
Yeah.
He just works out.
Yeah.
That's it.
You had some discipline. What are you doing?
There's no way that dude fights ninjas. Get the fuck out of here.
No.
So, the couple of things that may help the second season is they got a new showrunner. All right. What's his name? Finn Jones has had more time to train. You know, the story came out.
We're not going to have a million cuts to do an action scene with
Did
this guy.
Finn Jones do CrossFit like Imran?
Yo, bro, I did CrossFit, bro. Remember? Because Finn Jones said he did not have a lot of time to train for the first season. And so he's gotten more time. And they hinted that there may be the costume in the second season. Marlene, does any of this sound like it could improve this show?
If his fight choreography gets better, then
yeah,
sure.
if the stuntman could be in the costume
Now
and do everything.
You can use a stuntman and cover his face, and he could be sick.
But also, like, the costume is not... I don't know how they're going to translate that to, like, a
that
Netflix
costume
Marvel
doesn't...
show.
You know what? Like, the first Daredevil costume when he was all in black, that was basically Iron Fist.
That's Iron
right
Fist's costume, just dye it green and yellow. He's done. with your chest open, but you gotta have the chest.
He's got to support the tats.
No, he's got to have the tat with the deep
tat.
V, like the V, like right down to the belly
deep
button.
V.
Armbands, and maybe add a gold chain. Pop the collar, yeah.
Just like with his like skinny fat body and his deep V. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Stop shaming him. That's my job.
Body shaming him, Anthony. Finally, Luke Cage season 2 is coming out June 22nd next week. Marlene, how excited are you?
There's a new trailer for that.
Yeah.
Holy cow, already?
Next Friday.
That was fast.
Right?
I wasn't expecting that.
Look, we're getting 3 Netflix. Last year we got 3 shows. I think this year we're going to get 3 shows. We got Jessica Jones, Luke
quick
Cage,
comment.
Iron Fist.
The new trailer is pretty good too.
Yes, with Alfre Woodard. What was her name? Mariah Dillard. Going, Harlem needs a woman superhero or a powerful woman.
Yeah.
Man, Bushmaster looks sick. Like he seems to catch his punches and be just as strong. And the thing I love about the season, something nobody else cares about, but I do. Last season, every episode was named after a Gang Starr song. I love this combination of old school hip hop and comic books. 2 of my favorite things. Season 2, Chio Hodari Coker is going with Pete Rock and CL Smooth songs. Geek Boner.
Did we ask Marlene if she likes Luke Cage the first season?
I think she said she did.
She did?
I did,
Oh,
yeah.
I wasn't fucking
It was
paying.
really fun seeing all these places in Harlem that I've actually been to.
Yeah, colorful.
Street names
Yeah.
and things. It's really neat.
What do you think of the second half of that season when we got to the guy in the suit, Diamondback?
I thought it was so good.
Okay.
I still liked it.
All right.
Yeah.
What's your hood in New York, by the way? Are you like a...
I'm originally from the Bronx.
Oh, shit.
Whoa,
Yeah.
watch out.
Bronx.
She'll fucking knife you.
Represent South Bronx.
Watch out. Don't
South Bronx.
Show some respect.
Yo, Marlene and
I
J-Lo.
like Marlene. She can protect me.
I know she's got a switchblade on her right now. I guarantee.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Oh, shit.
Yo.
I knew it.
She got them Wolverine claws that they have.
Yeah. So
So you're currently in the Bronx, or where you?
No, I'm in Brooklyn now.
Brooklyn represent. I used to
There
live
you
in
go.
Brooklyn,
That's where you
too.
see the members only, Jacqueline.
Yeah. Sitting on the stoop drinking 40s back in the 90s. That's what I did in
That's
Brooklyn.
right.
So early reviews of the season, people are saying it improves and is better than the first season. Geek Boner. Which I'm
Well,
excited.
that's great
Yeah.
because I liked the first season and just petered out at the end. So
And so far, none of these second seasons have been better than the first season. So I'm waiting for one of these to actually do that. Knock it out of the park and be better than the first season.
Daredevil season 2, the first 4 episodes were.
I mean,
better
I
than the
like the
first
arcs. Yeah, I like the different arcs, but the first season overall, I mean,
Yeah.
the whole, same thing.
I hear
Jessica
you.
Jones.
Daredevil season 2 is still like to
pretty
contend
solid,
with.
yeah.
And Jessica
Yeah.
Jones season 2 is
It's
good.
solid.
It's
Yeah.
solid.
It's you couldn't beat Kilgrave though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Marlene, what favorite season of Jessica Jones?
I haven't seen the second season yet.
Oh, you have not.
shit.
Oh,
Ooh,
no.
You should check it out.
There you go.
It's,
You gotta
it's
check it
not
out.
as good as the first season, but they are trying. There's a lot of deep stuff there that you can uncover.
It's one of those things where you know how like we were talking about Cloak and Dagger being like on the fence, it's not polarizing. Like,
Right.
There's so many things that redeem every bad thing. Like something will be bad, but then something will redeem it, and you're like, oh shit, I don't know, if I kind of like it, but I don't like it, but I like it. So it's a lot of that going on.
A lot of push pull on your.
Yeah.
A lot of
motivation.
twists.
I'll have to check it out.
A lot of
Yeah.
twists, a lot of unexpected twists. It's definitely up there as one of the better Netflix series.
And I like your cray cray, by the way.
Oh, yeah, there's a video.
Oh yeah.
I like your
I
cray
want
cray.
your
Cray.
cray cray.
You should
Yeah,
watch that,
that's
and then you can listen to our full review on the podcast of Jessica Jones season 2.
I like that
Marlene-
you keep like prompting her to like go back to our back catalog like and listen to shit.
Just not gonna do
yeah,
that.
you're not doing that.
But maybe the listener
I don't do
now,
that.
maybe there's a listener out there that were like, oh, I didn't check out their review of Jessica Jones. I might go check it out. You never know. You don't know
I
who's
hear ya.
listening. It's
Well, they
just-
do
it's a-
download shit
It's
all
just
the
a
time.
global. It's a global show, man. You're being heard all over the world, Marlene. We have listeners
That's
in
true.
Australia.
This is true.
Marlene, thanks for hanging out with us. Why don't you tell the listener where you are online and what you want them to check out?
I'm pretty much only on Twitter these days.
Right on, rocking the
'cause
Twitter.
I'm a lazy asshole and haven't updated my site or my YouTube. But I'm really active on Twitter. I like comics too, all spelled out. I'm also active on Instagram and Tumblr, which is the place that I work at. So I'm on there a lot because it's my job.
What do you do at Tumblr?
I actually manage a legal department, so pretty boring.
Sounds are you like going after people posting like
Sounds exciting. Imran, this guy.
copyrighted things?
Yeah, actually, that is exactly what I
Figured it
do.
out. That's exciting. I'm coming after
That's
you,
exciting.
copyright breaker.
Come on, Dad, don't kiss her ass. That's not exciting. It's Tumblr, but she's doing.
No, but it's still a legit job.
You just said it's not that exciting.
Well, of course she's gonna.
I like it though.
She has to say that.
She's like a cop, man. She's the copyright police.
Yeah,
I got to be careful what I post on that shit now. I know you.
So how do you feel about, like, okay, you said you got into this whole thing like years ago, started posting YouTube videos. How do you feel about the way things are now versus when you started? You seem like you've cooled off a little bit on it. Is there a reason behind that, or is there?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of things. I think I just kind of got a little fed up with trying to keep up with everything at once. I just kind of got burnt out.
Yeah.
So now it's just kind of going to shows and picking up the comics that my friends draw or indie stuff online that I can kickstart or whatever and kind of seem interested in. Also, it's the culture and the climate is a little different than a couple years ago when I first started. When I first started, there weren't a lot of girls on YouTube or on Twitter or anything talking about comics. So it was kind of like this novelty and people were really friendly and interested. And now there's a lot more of us and that's great. But also it feels like the reception is really different. It's weird. It's not, bad. I still think the community is fantastic and, I enjoy sharing with everybody, but it's definitely different. There's a lot more hostility than there was when I first
the YouTube comments and stuff, like any kind of comments on anything, like Twitter, anytime where you can comment on something, just like the fucking craziest shit happens. Yeah. And I know because I am one of those people that do that.
We've gotten 2 death threats, both from YouTube commenters. So.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's
only 2 though in 3 years.
Yeah, that's
nothing.
not bad. We pissed off a Gotham fan, and those people really get pissed.
I was scared.
Yeah, I was
so scared.
I checked my car before I started it for a couple of weeks. Do you think fandom is broken?
And then you give your address to random fans.
Well, joke's on you fuckers. I'm moving. Marlene, do you think fandom is broken right now? Can it be fixed, or is it it's just
I don't think it's broken. I think there's always kind of been an undercurrent of gatekeeping in the community. It's always been there. I think the internet has just made it a little more obvious and visible because we can all communicate with each other so much more easily. I don't think it's broken. I think it's a little bent out of shape. I think it's something we can fix if we just keep trying to be good to each other.
Right on. That's it. Be excellent to each other, like Bill and Ted said.
Absolutely.
I like it. Ruggs, where can the listener find you online?
Well, now I'm on the Jock and Nerd Nation.
Holy shit, he's on Facebook, people.
As soon as I figure out how to facey books, I'll be on there doing something. But if you want to get in touch with me, go on Twitter, find me at ReallyRugBoy, where I'll probably be commenting on Marlene's comments. So I'll just piggyback on her fame.
Yeah, we'll interact. Marlene,
I'll do.
You are welcome back anytime. Anytime you have anything to promote, or you just want to review something, you want to get something off your chest, you want to hang out, you're always welcome. A pleasure to have you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Right on. And listener, remember, check our shop, jockandnerd.com/shop this week, June 20th to 24th. 30% off everything. And tell a friend, spread the geekery. Let's grow this empire of stupidity. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
Yes. I see that you know your judo well.
Yeah. That's a big fuck up right there.